Hi there. Let's use Wyckoff technical analysis to help us understand where Ripple is going and what can we expect. If you're new to my sessions, here are the key takeaways that you can expect from the session. So let's take a look at the weekly chart, and in the daily chart we'll get into a little bit further detail, but let's start with the big picture. Previously, I shared that there is a higher likelihood for Ripple to show us a sign of weakness, and it has already happened. So last week it went to the point where it was very close to what we had back in March this year, and currently it still hasn't stopped yet. So it looks like it's trending towards the yellow key level of 2.05. This, I would say, has been confirmed. The only remaining question is how deep the sign of weakness would reach, whether it's going to be around the yellow key level like the one that happened here back in June, or is it going to get even deeper below the orange key level of 1.8 like the one happened in April. Okay, so this remains while we're still expecting it to come down. There may be a bounce afterwards. That's where the LPSY goes. Okay, if it bounces from the yellow or the orange, and then continue to go down, that's where the last point of supply will show up. Okay, currently it's still too early to tell. And if this downtrend continues across the board, okay, if it follows the entire crypto market and it seems like money has been pulling out from the market based on the total market cap, there is a chance that we will see a preliminary support showing up. So it's the stage before the selling climax. That's PS. Okay. That's officially the beginning of an accumulation cycle. For Ripple, it hasn't gone through such a cycle since October last year. So for over a year, we have been within the distribution cycle. Only during the October 10th, the price went back to the sign of strength level. That happened back in July 2023. Ripple has suffered for a very long period since March 2022 all the way to near the end of 2024. Okay, and here, as of this moment, if it really comes back down to accumulation, October 10th has hinted us how bad that can get to. Not saying that is the absolute bottom, but 0.78 was the price that was reached on that particular day. Okay, if this really is going that south, it may end up somewhere around this white dashed line, and also explains why October 10th stopped there. This white dashed line is the center line of the long-term playground zone. This long-term playground zone basically covers about 70 to 80% of the time that Ripple was trading in. Okay? This line here, you see the sign of strength back in June 2023, and multiple peaks found rejection, or when the price dropped, these areas, the sign of weakness, and there was another one that found support around this level. Okay, also these peaks over here. So this time, if it drops back to accumulation, that may well be where Ripple would accumulate. So that's the pessimistic scenario. How about positive or optimistic scenario? If really Ripple is going to stop dropping from this point around the yellow key level of 2.05, like what happened here during April to June, then it will have a chance to come back to at least show a second test somewhere between the blue key level of 3.05 and the purple key level of 3.38. Obviously, if the market condition by then supports people to further get into riskier assets, then we may see something even higher than the peak that was made in mid-July. Okay, that's the big picture. Let's get to the daily. Here, this downtrend that started around late July is still going on, and there's no sign of it getting to the better side of the channel. It's still trading at the lower half. So if it really is continuing within this lower half of the channel, the breakout opportunity wouldn't appear until the first quarter of next year. Okay, so the first thing for Ripple is to get outside of this downtrend that needs quite a bit of good news. As of this moment, after November 4th, for those 4 days that Ripple has been trading above this 2.05 yellow key level, you see the wicks that extended towards the yellow line, but then got some buying up there. Only till today, this level has been broken, and quite a bit of selling happened above this intermediate level. Let me draw a line to show you where it is. So this supported those 4 days from the 4th to the 7th, all until now, today. Okay, you see the price opened around that level, tried to go above but got rejected, back to a lower point at where we are currently. If I extend this line to the left, that can explain to you why there is such an intermediate level. This is the same level where the automatic rally happened in mid-April, and also the battle around the sign of strength and the subsequent accumulation cycle in the daily chart happened. So that's why we are seeing these sort of behavior right now. So expect something similar to happen between this dashed line and the yellow key level, now that it has dropped below it. Unless something very bad happened, or people like panic sell, like what happened back in here in the beginning of April. Otherwise, this sort of sideways trading is still expected. Not saying it can't get to lower point at around 1.8, the orange key level. That's where I put the temporary tag of selling climax over there. That was the selling climax back in April. So that may only be the first stop. Remember, the selling climax isn't necessarily the lowest point for an accumulation to happen. Look at what happened to October 10th. Okay, assuming there's no such crazy thing to happen in the near term, and that it won't drop in a day like what it did. However, if the pessimistic sentiment continues and there's no good news coming out to drive the market back up, then we'll continue to see the price to test the lower key levels until the point where it's going to hit this ceiling of the long-term playground zone. If we look to the left-hand side, that's where the climax back in 2021 was for Ripple. All right, that may trigger another round of rebound, but if that doesn't hold, that's where we have to look into the 0.78 support level that provided support on October 10th. Okay, there is a whole range of other key levels inside the box. When we get close enough, or when the price gets closer to 1.55, then I'll add those lines, and then in the future sessions, we can continue to discuss and reveal how this